here. Hope you're doing well on this wonderful Wednesday. Let me turn my mic down a little bit so you guys can hear me and not so much be in the shot because you guys don't want to see my microphone. There we go. I think that's better. So, Witchy Wisdom Wednesday. Thanks for being here, y'all. We're waiting for some folks to come in. It's going to be a really interesting topic today. And the topic was, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me live. While we're waiting for some folks to come in, I want to introduce myself because we got a lot of new people in the group and that are new to me. And also, there's a shift in the air. I know you guys can feel it. September is about the Mabon coming up, right? The fall equinox is coming up, and there's a big shift in the energy. And today, hey, how are you? I haven't seen you forever. I'm so excited about this one too. So you should have gotten a notification in the let me get situated, y'all. In the group that I was going live. I go live every Wednesday for Witchy Wisdom Wednesday. So today we are going to be talking about air and the element of air and what that means to be an air witch and how to use the element of air. Hope you guys can hear me. You guys can hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear the audio. I think you guys can. All right. So today's topic was suggested by Paula. So thank you so much for that. Awesome suggestion. If you guys want me to speak or teach or do this mini thing that I do every Wednesday, and you're interested in me teaching or talking on a specific witchy subject, paranormal, spirit, mediumship, tarot, occult, anything, elements, just drop it in the comments because I love the idea of me helping you instead of me just coming up with the topics, because a lot of people are just like, I don't want to know about that, or that doesn't resonate with me, right? So I love it that we get the feedback, and thanks to Paula for giving me this suggestion about talking about air magic and how to work with the element of air and how to be a air witch. So awesome. I know it's going to be a good one. So a little bit of an introduction. Madam Z here. And if you're new to my channel, thanks for joining us. If you have been around for a while, thanks for hanging out with us and sticking around. So I'm a magical life coach and a paranormal investigator and a spirit communicator, psychic development coach. So I teach and help women come out of the witchy broom closet and empower their natural gifts that they have been oppressing. Whether it is fear, whether it is a witch wound, whether it is just being not authentic to themselves, sorry, English. I help them and I empower them, and we work through the fears of coming out of the broom closet so you can feel more empowered in your life and you can change, which is interesting segue because air is about change a lot of the time. So if in the comments, drop down if you resonate with being an air witch. What kind of witch? So we're going to talk a little bit about elements. So we have earth, air, fire, and water. So which element do you really connect with the most? A lot of people connect with the element of water. I'm an earth witch. So that means I probably need to do a whole series on this. Thank you for divine download for that. So this for me is earth. I love grounding. I love Gaia. So we'll probably do next one. We'll do a series on earth witching. So today we're going to be working with air, and we talked a little bit about earlier how we are feeling this shift, this change, this new energy. Right, the wind is blowing in a different direction. So let's talk about that. Yeah, you're an earth witch too. I am too. My least favorite one is water. You will probably never see me around water. That's because I figured out why. I figured out in the past life, I had to do a past life regression too to figure out a lot of this stuff. And this is what happens when we do witch wound, when we do past life stuff, we figure out what fears are that we are holding on to on this earthly plane that came from our past life. So for me, in this instance, I do not like water and I do not like heights. So I did a past life regression, and we have many past lives, right? In one of my past lives, which gave me the wound of fear of heights and fear of water, was because I was found out that I was a witch, a healer, a sorceress, right? And they took me on a ship, and I was made to walk the plank, whatever you call walk the plank, right? And very, very high. And so was thrown over the ship and I was drowned. So that is why I have a fear of heights and I have a fear of water. Um, so it's interesting that I'm still holding on to that as much as I try to incorporate, or at least I know where that's from. I have to consciously be aware that I'm not going to fall. No one's trying to kill me. It's just a past life. Let me step through it. Yeah, a lot of us have wounds that we still haven't healed, or we're still working on healing. We are not a perfect person, right? We have nuances, we have fears, but the biggest thing is that we don't let fears dictate to us what we're going to do in our future. And what I call dance with the devil, we make friends with them, and I'm like, all right, let's dance. I can maneuver around you, you can maneuver around me, let's work together, right? Yeah, very much so. I love past life stuff. It gives you so much insight into where you come from, where your wounds come from. I can do a whole segment on past life, but if you're interested in past life readings, shoot me a message. I love doing past life readings. All right, so let's. I know. I get so distracted. There's so much to do, right? So much to talk about. All right, so let's dive into it since I've rambled on and on and on. Air witch. So what does that mean to be an air witch and work with the element of air? So let's talk a little bit about it and what it consists of. So air magic, air witch, whatever, uses an element of air. And that is associated with thoughts, things that travel through air, such as music, death, fragrances, spirits, dreams, etc. So it's things that flow between the conscious and subconscious mind and the plane between the spiritual plane and the earthly plane. It has a lot to do with your thoughts. That's how I usually see it, right? Get clarity, get your thoughts right, get your mindset right. Let's work on the element of air. So let's talk about, I struggle with that. Being focused. There's so much stuff going on right now on the internet. Stuff's being, thrown at us. So much information. And we just get in this panic of have to consume everything, right? And we lose focus. So work on the element of air if you want to work on your focus and you want to get clarity. I'm just watching the bunnies in my outside my window run back and forth. They're feeling a shift also. So did you all know, and in the comments I want you to let me know, that there are different kinds of winds that you can work with? I need to do a whole series on storm magic, right? I think I covered storm magic in the academy. I teach this kind of stuff to my students in the academy. We dive deeper. This is just a mini training. So different types of magic that you can use with different types of wind. Wind magic is amazing. Okay, so tornadoes. Drop in the comments what you think that you would use the energy of a tornado for, right? So I'd like to see in the comments what you think you could use the element of tornado, that wind energy, right? You're absolutely right. Correct. So use the element of a tornado if you want to shift, like massive shifts, not just like little bitty shifts. I'm talking about the Tower card. If anybody knows what the Tower card is, right? It's about major, huge, life altering shifts. It's used to destroy, to banish, and to create havoc in someone else's life or your life, whatever you want to change, right? Be super careful when you're using this form of air, the tornado. It's hard to control, and things can go wrong in an instant and shift direction without you having any warning at all. So, in order to use tornado magic, or the energy of the tornado, I would do other things first, and then make sure that you're a seasoned witch when you're using the energy of tornado. Yes, very good. Yeah. I don't use the tornado very much. So I've been in tornadoes before. I hate them. I don't like them. My boyfriend Blair is a storm chaser, so he took me into my very first tornadoes, actually. It was terrifying. So I'm like, no, thank you. So you have to stand in your power, and you have to be pretty well seasoned when you're dealing with tornado magic. Awesome. My air conditioner just kicked off. So dust storms. I've been in a lot of dust storms because I lived in Arizona for a while. So dust storm magic is used to confuse, cover up, or cause people to not see things clearly. Okay. So this is used for spell work when you want to, people are trying, or, they're like onto something. You're like, no, this, I don't want them to see this kind of thing. It would be really good though if you would use it for magic, that for hidden magic, where you want to just hide the magic that you're doing. You don't want anybody to see it, anybody to disturb it. It would be a good source of energy to use for a dust storm. So the south winds. So this is one of my favorite ones too. This is the energy that you use to infuse warmth and fire into your magic, or into your personal space or personal being. So what you do is you stand in the south wind and let it fill your soul with fuel and purpose and passion. And usually it's the energy of the sun, right? The masculinity, the divine masculine energy going going outward instead of inward. So it's the energy of just shifting from being still into forward action. So you whistle into the south wind. This is interesting. This is a folklore kind of thing. You whistle into the south wind to call to your loved ones. It doesn't mean that your loved ones who have passed, because we're going to talk about that. We're talking about whistle into the south wind to call your loved ones. Maybe you have an aunt or a grandmother, or a sister that doesn't, live with you, that isn't near you, right? Maybe they're on, different state or something, and you want them to hear you, right? So whistle into the south wind, and the universe will carry your message, or carry that into their ears. So north wind. Yes, it's very interesting. I would love for you guys to actually work in all the directions of the winds and see how you feel. See how each energy is different, and how it vibrates, and how you connect with it. For example, you may not connect with the south wind. You may like the west wind better, right? Maybe you didn't get anything in the north wind, but immediately when you stepped into west wind, you were like, this is my home. I feel safe here. So this is what it means when you're doing different types of working with energies. You got to feel it. You got to know it. So the north wind, this is one of my favorite ones too, because I am a earth sign, so I love the north. So this is the energy and the winds of change, right? This is also the energy of wanting to be still and to do freezing spells and also some destruction, right? Ice storms, destroy things. And so one of the things that you want to do is place any spell work in the direction of the north wind and it'll stop people in their tracks. This is kind of a type of a freezer spell. All right. So if you need to slow down a little bit, if you have too much south wind, too much fire, too much passion, you need to be focused, right? You need to smell the roses and not so much keep doing things. Then you want to stand in the middle of the north wind and let it wash over you. Listen to the messages, be still, stop, and cool things off a little bit. Maybe you're too fiery. Maybe you're too angry at something and you need to cool that energy down. So the north wind is amazing for that. Yeah, the north wind. I love the north wind. It's good. I kind of can't. To be honest with you, I'm excited about the north wind. So right now, because I just moved here from Texas, so it's always freaking hot in Texas most of the time. Anyway, so we don't have a big shift in the seasons there. So I am really looking forward to working in the energy of the north wind this season, right? The snow, the cold, and see how that energy shifts in me. And the elements around me. Awesome. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, I love it. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. I never thought about that. So usually when you're working in the north end, it means that you are just being still and you don't want to go out, right? If you think about it being in the cycle of, not the equinoxes, but the wheel of the year, right? When you're working in the north, that usually means the winter time, and that usually means stillness, and it means us coming inward. So the east wind, yay, east wind. East wind symbolizes new beginnings, new thoughts, new ideas, and it's great to use for clarity. So if you are stuck on what your next move is, what who your next magical coach is, who your next program is, do you want to start this business? When do you want to start it? Should you get that, that promotion? Do you want to ask for the raise? You just need clarity in your life. Stand in the east wind direction. Call on the energy of the east wind for clarity, right? Ask it. Give me clarity. Show me what I need to do. Give me the right steps. And the east wind will speak to you into your soul. So the west wind has to do with water, right? And we already talked about water and how much I'm not so much a fan of water. Cover up my cup. So the west wind is the element of emotions, connections, relationships, but it's also the element of healing waters. So if you have a healing practice, right? I would consecrate that practice in the west wind. It's a perfect place to start any love spells, any friendships, strengthen any relationships. And it's also used for cleansing. So if you're doing any healing on yourself or others, or you want to cleanse, this is a great way to use the element of wind, the west wind. You can also cleanse any tools that you're using. It doesn't have to be yourself, right? It can be actual physical tools that you use in your practice. So you will hear spirits come through the best when facing the west wind. Remember, we talked about earlier when you're whistling into the south wind or you're speaking into the south wind, that message travels through your loved ones. But the loved ones are present, are here on the earthly plane. If you want to speak to spirits that have passed over, you work in the element of west or the west wind energy. Okay. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, Paul. This is a great suggestion. I really freaking love this one. I absolutely love this one. It was a good suggestion. So awesome. So if you want to speak more about using this kind of energy and you're ready to dive deep into your magic, send me a message. Let's talk about things and what your next step is. Let's use the energy of the wind and get clarity on what you want to do next. All right, everyone, Witch on, and we'll see you next week on Witchy Wisdom Wednesdays with Madam Z.